Good morning. This is April the 2nd, Wednesday, 2025. And we are in BBIS second semester compulsory English class. In the previous class, we were discussing Atari and India. The first question we discussed in the previous class was what may be the connection between Atari and India in the title. And we explored how Steve Jobs first joins Atari, works for some time, and then he leaves for India, spends 7 months spiritual journey, and now he comes back to Atari again. But when he comes back to Atari, he's completely changed. He is wearing a saffron colored dress. He looks like a spiritual person, and he very politely asked for a job. Can I get my job back? Whereas in the first time, he said, I won't go back home unless I get my job. He is completely changed. And we saw how Steve Jobs is given a task by Nolan Bushnell to design a new version of the Pong game, having single player, and how Nolan Bushnell asks him if he can use less than 50 chips per game, per product, he will get extra bonus for each chip you do not use. And then how Steve Jobs invites Wozniak to collaborate, how both of them work day and night. Wozniak designs the games in the daytime in his office, and Steve Jobs implements the design at night. And it was a very difficult job, but they finished within 4 days. Then we had the subtitle of this story. What was the game? What was the subtitle? Jen and the Art of Video Making. And I had asked you to do this at home. Some of you have done, most of you have done. I won't go into that. Today I will move to another lesson, because we have spent 7 classes. We were supposed to finish all these in 4 classes. So I'll move on to next chapter. Did I discuss the poem? I think I haven't. I'll discuss the poem and then I'll move on to the essay. So we have the poem, The Laughing Heart, by Charles Bukowski, who had a very difficult life because of his parents, his father's behavior, right? If you read the notes given before the poem, for example, let me show you something. So we read here that Bukowski's father was a reputed tyrant, behaving very badly, verbally and physically abusing his son. Verbal, physical abuse throughout his childhood. It was perhaps to numb himself from his father's abuse that Bukowski began drinking at the age of 13, initiating his lifelong affair with alcohol. He left his school and home in 1941. Why? His father, who had finally read some of Bukowski's stories published, threw his son's possessions into the street, because in his stories, Bukowski had talked about his father and family indirectly. And he came to learn that he wrote about him, and he just threw everything out. In 1955, Bukowski was hospitalized with an alcohol-induced bleeding ulcer and came close to death. I won't read other, you read yourself, but I'll go to the poem now. I just gave you the background because it has to do with the content of the poem. The Laughing Heart. So let's go to the title first. There are 2 words, or 3, let's say. Major word heart, laughing. So when you say laughing heart, what ideas come? Heart is where your emotions are, where your feelings are. Heart is a major thing in the body, in your existence, right? Heart and mind, right? Laughing. Laughing, when do you laugh? When you're happy. When do you cry? When you are sad. So it is the heart when you cry, it is the heart when you laugh. When you cry, you cry through your heart. You laugh with your heart. So this laughing is about happiness. Now let's read the poem. Your life is your life. So when you read a poem, you don't have a narrator, understand? You have a persona. Sometimes people call it poetic persona. As teachers teach, your job is to make notes out of the lecture. Your job is to make notes, right? If you are not making notes, you should not stay in my class. Because my class, you are not here to look on my old face. You are supposed to be fully active with your note copy, with your pen, with your book. You are supposed to be actively noting down what I teach you. You are not supposed to be just idly sitting idle, looking at me. So I said, the speaker is poetic persona. We call it speaker in place of narrator. In a story, you say narrator. In poetry, you say speaker or persona. When you feel that the speaker is poet himself, then you say poetic persona. If you think that the poet is directly expressing his voice, it is poet's experience, poet's voice, then you can call him poetic persona. So somebody is speaking here, a speaker. A speaker who says, now who is this? Your is us, the reader. Whoever is reading this poem. Today, BBIS second semester LSM reading. So we are the audience, addressee. You have the speaker, and then you have the hearer or reader or audience, and in between you have the message. You have the medium. You see a print medium. Right now you see a digital medium. On the screen you have a smart board. So through what medium is the poem coming to you? Through the digital medium, right? But if you are reading your books, that is print medium. Through verbal medium, they are using words, so verbal medium. The poet is conveying his message through words. So that is verbal medium. Written medium. Written. Words are written, printed there. You are not listening a sound. You are not listening an audio file. If you are listening to this poem in YouTube, that will be audio-visual medium. Right? Okay. Your life is your life. In poem, you don't read line by line. You read sentence by sentence. For example, the sentence starts here, right? And the full stop is here. So when you read, do not stop here. Stop only when you reach here. Read sentence by sentence when you read a poem. Your life is your life. Don't let it be clubbed into dang submission. There are two clauses. First clause, let's focus first. Your life is your life. So this your, I said, us, the speaker, anybody. When you say your life is your life. So when you say your life, that means you should be in full control of your life. You should be able to take decisions about your life, not anybody else, right? Not your parents, not your father, mother, not your teacher, not your college, nobody. This is a perspective, this is an argument. You may disagree. You may say, no, Divakar sir, I depend on my parents, I follow their advice about my life. But here he says, no, your life is your life. You take your decisions and be responsible for the decisions you take. There's a very famous essay. Later on, when you grow as managers, you can decide to read. The essay is Free Man's Worship. This essay written by Bertrand Russell, a very famous mathematician of 20th century and philosopher from America. Very famous. And in this essay, why I'm referring, because Bertrand Russell says that as a human being, you are your own master. You carve your destiny. You take your decisions. And you be responsible for your decisions. There is no God. You are your God. Worship yourself. Worship your own decisions. Worship your own, courage. So here I like this line because it says that your life is your life. So you should take care of your life. You should be very sensitive to what you are doing. Did you exercise this morning? Did you drink warm water this morning? Did you have enough sleep last night? Did you take bath before you came to college? Did you have some breakfast? Did you take care of your life? If not, that's not a good thing. Your life is your life. If you don't take care of your life, you will suffer. So take care of your life, physically, mentally, spiritually. Care about it. Life doesn't move on its own. It needs care. Right? Your life is your life. Another meaning can be, don't let it be clubbed into dang submission. What does it mean to be clubbed into dang submission? People oppress you. People use their force to make you obey them. They beat you. They attack at you. They torture you. And they force you to follow what they are saying. Don't allow people to do so. You are young girls here, I'm very frank. Somebody might try to sexually molest you. Somebody from the family, close to the family, in the neighborhood, your friend's friend, anybody. Then you remember this line. Do not allow them to do it. Stand up. Oppose. Talk about it. Write about it. Show them the finger. Hey! And they will move back. You will be safe. Whether you are a boy, whether you are a girl, you may be sexually molested. I give just an example, a sensitive example. Your life is your life. Don't let it be violently and forcefully oppressed by other people. Be on the watch. Always, wherever you are, in the bus, be on the watch about the next person sitting next to you. In a queue, be on the watch person behind you. In the classroom, be on the watch people around you. In the crowd, be on the watch. Always be very careful about your surrounding, your environment, people around. Be careful about your life, your plan, your BBIS study, your semester, your courses. Be watchful about your home, its physical environment, security, safety. You're riding, be watchful about the safety. Be watchful about the life. It's your life. If it breaks, your life breaks. There are ways out. Suppose you are oppressed. Somebody is torturing you. Somebody is sexually molesting you. And he is so close to your relation, you are not able to speak out. Think about solutions. Tell your story to somebody, your friend, ask for a solution. There are ways out. There are solutions to all problems. There are solutions to all problems. There is no problem that doesn't have a solution. Right? Look, the poem is positive. The poem is optimistic. The poem is based on hope. There is light somewhere. Light and darkness. If you see in this poem, here is a darkness. Two images, color images. Color imagery, light and darkness. In literature, light is always a symbol of hope, optimism, hopefulness, goodness. And darkness is a symbol of pessimism, hopelessness, failure. There is light somewhere. Even when you are in darkness and you are scared of your surrounding, and when you see a light at the distance, that gives you a courage to keep walking. Right? There is light somewhere. It may not be much light, but it beats the darkness. When I went to bed last night around 10, I switched off all the lights. I kept a mobile phone in another room. When I switched off, it was pitch dark. I could not even see where is my bed. But after 5 or 6 minutes, slowly, there was slight light. And I could see the almirah, I could see the ceiling, I could see the window curtains. Right? That was enough for me to feel comfortable. Right? It may not be much light, but beats the darkness, defeats pessimism, defeats hopelessness. Be on the watch. When a line is repeated again and again in a poem, we call this a refrain. A repeated line in poem is called a refrain. So that's a refrain. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. Here, gods might mean a real God. For me, whenever, last night when I went to bed, it was pitch dark, and the moment I just was on the bed, I said, I recited 2 lines. Sarva Mangala Mangalye Sive Sarvartha Sadike Saranye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. When the earthquake goes, I recite the line. When I am mentally in trouble, I recite the line. When I am scared of something, I recite the line. When I was in hospital, I was always reciting the line. For me, these 2 lines give me mental courage, right? Because I believe in the goddess Durga. And the lines are about goddess Durga. You may be Buddhist, you may be Muslim, you may be Christian. You may believe in God, you may not believe in God. If you do believe in God, when you recall your gods, you have some courage. Right? The gods will offer you chance. Another meaning of gods for me is anybody in your life, in your family, surrounding who is coming there to help you. Anybody who offers you support is a god. On the watch, the gods will offer you chances. Know them. See, in life, when there is a problem, along with the problem, opportunities also come, knock your door. You should be able to recognize and grab them. Be on the watch. The gods will offer you chances. What chances? Chances to escape the problem. Know them. Take the chances. Use them. You can't beat death. Here death means final death, dying. You can beat death in life sometimes. Here death means difficulties. Now, the word death occurs 2 times. It has 2 meanings. One meaning is real death, final death. When we stop breathing, when our body has no life. Right? This first. Second is, you can beat death means, the second death means extremely difficult situations. I was in hospital between January 25 and February 7 this year. I was having pneumonia, I couldn't breathe, my oxygen level was 80, I was in ICU for 5 days. I was reading Gita, I was reading other books, reciting, calling my God to help me survive. I survived. I escaped death. I beat death in the hospital. How? By being hopeful, by being optimistic, by being positive. And the more often you learn to beat death, learn to do it means to beat death, the more light there will be, the more optimism there will be. You will be more hopeful in life. Your life is your life. Again, second refrain. First, and your life is your life. Know it while you have it. Understand your life. Study your life. Observe your life. Pay attention to your life. When you lose your life, you can't do that. The body will stink. Right? Know it while you have. You are marvelous. This line I like. What is this line? What does it tell you? There is something called self-esteem. There's a wonderful book that the people of your age should read. The book's name is, you may have read, You Can Win by Shiva Khera. He is a trainer, motivational speaker. This book I read 25 years before when I was a high school teacher. And I asked my students to read in class 9 and 10. They read it. This book has 5 chapters. This book is about life management. And it should be read by people of your age and your situation. In one chapter, in that book, Shiva Khera talks about self-esteem and how self-esteem makes you successful in life. If you start thinking, I cannot do. These days I see many boys and girls on Facebook. They never post the real faces, they filter it. How do you filter your face? Because you think your face is ugly. I never filter my face. I post what I am. So you have low confidence in your appearance. You have low confidence in your appearance. That is, you have low self-esteem. Low self-esteem means you think, I'm not beautiful, I'm not handsome, I'm not intelligent, I'm not able to do things, I'm poor, I'm ugly, I'm lousy, I will fail, I can't do anything. If you think this way, you will always fail. I like this line because it says, no, I'm marvelous, I'm wonderful. I'm better than anybody. Look this feeling. The God's way to delight in you. God's way to delight in you. In you. Believe that in me gods live, great deities live. I'm great, I'm good, I'm better, I'm handsome, I'm intelligent, I'm bright, I can do good things. If you feel like this, you will be positive. So, the poem, The Laughing Heart thinks this way. Right? I won't spend much time, I'll go to next chapter. We have 30-minute time. So, before I go to the next chapter, just one thing I remembered about this poem, about the conflict in the poem. The conflict seems to be between the speaker and his own self. Maybe in his heart he has something that is troubling him. Because he says, don't let your life to be clubbed by someone with dank submission, the second line. So though he doesn't tell his personal things, but when you read the biography of the writer in the introduction poem, you come to learn that his personal life was not very normal. He was troubled by his father. And then you can connect. Because of his experience in personal life, he is teaching us to have hope. And look, he survived his father. He survived his father's torture. How? By this optimism. So how do you survive the difficulties of life? By having optimistic attitude, hopeful attitude. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? One of the romantic poets wrote, Shelley, Byron, I forgot. If winter comes, don't worry, spring too will come. If night comes, don't worry, dawn will come. Right? Okay. Now we move to next unit in your curriculum, I guess. Unit 1 had the 4 chapters. Dawn, 1962, Atari and India, and The Laughing Heart. Now we get to second chapter. Can someone tell me the theme of second chapter by consulting the curriculum? Anyone? Your book should have curriculum in the first page, if you printed completely. If you printed the soft copy I mailed you, it should have the curriculum in the beginning. What is the second chapter? Okay. Second unit is, okay, we are already in second unit, right? The Laughing Heart. Ambition, success and happiness. On happiness. Ambition, success and happiness. Let's write the theme. Ambition, success, happiness. These are the 3 themes, right? Ambition we see in Atari and India also. You have more chapters. There is another chapter about Steve Jobs, I guess, about the speech he gave somewhere. Okay. Now, whenever you read anything in English literature, the first question you ask is, what is the genre of the text I'm going to read? For example, the first chapter from Shoe Dog was story, was narrative, was memoir. Once you know the genre, you will be able to decide how to read it. You read the chapter Elements of a Story. I showed you. A poem has different elements. A story has different elements. An essay has different elements. So they are read differently. You do not read an essay the same way you read a story. A story has more narration and description. An essay has more argument, reasoning. An essay makes more logical appeal, whereas a story may make more emotional appeal. A poem may make more emotional appeal. Laughing Heart stirs emotions. Dawn stirs emotions. 1962 stirs emotions. Atari in India stirs emotions. You see Steve Jobs' situation. On happiness is different. This is an essay. This is an essay. Essays are best examples of academic writing. Stories are examples of creative writing. Shoe Dog is an example of creative writing. Atari in India is an example of creative writing. Laughing Heart is an example of creative writing. On Happiness is an example of critical writing, academic writing. Now it has a topic on happiness. This is the subject matter. Right? So this happiness is on This essay is about the topic of happiness. And we are so serious in class, right? We are reading about happiness in a very serious mood. That's not a good thing. Okay. Who is the author? Priscilla Long. Let's get into the essay. So because the topic is on happiness and the genre is essay, and an essay mostly, as I said, makes an argument. It makes an argument. This argument can be factual argument, where you discuss fact. Is the earth round or flat? You discuss a fact. What is the height of Everest? You discuss a fact. Fact, which is taken for granted to be true. There is no debate. Then an essay can be about the definition of something. You discuss the meaning of something. Meaning of something. An essay can be an argument, an argument can be a proposal to solve a problem. There are many types of arguments, many types. And if anybody is in future interested in reading arguments, because without understanding arguments you can't be successful in university. There's a wonderful book about arguments. The name of the book is Everything is an Argument. It's a very famous book. Very famous. Everything is an Argument. Wonderful book. In future, sometimes you might feel, you can consult this book. But it's not a story, it's academic book. Okay. So when you see the title on happiness, probably the writer will define happiness. The writer will define the meaning of happiness. Probably, I don't know. I make a guess. The essay begins with a quotation by Jeffrey D. Sachs, Global Happiness Council. People around the world yearn for happiness, not war. And some very wise politicians understand their job is to deliver for the common good. I see this quotation relevant to my situation. Write Nepal here and read, people in Nepal yearn for happiness, not war. What happened last week in Kathmandu Valley? War. What is going on these days? Nepalese are divided into two opposite groups. Each is hurling stones at the other, abusing other. See the social media, see the government, see the people. They are at war. So nobody is happy. See how Miss Khatri was shot in front of her. I forgot her first name. BBIS student from Kodachar campus. She is struggling for her life. You saw the video? I could not watch it. It's so disturbing. She is bleeding. She was shot with a gun at point blank in front of her house. Her brother was shot. A journalist was said to be burnt alive. A young man of 29 from Kirtipur was said to be shot while walking back home near Baneshwar. War. We have no happiness. So reading this is relevant because we don't have happiness. We seem not to have happiness, right? Politicians. Look, our politicians, right? Understand that their job is to deliver for the common good. Common good. What is common good? Good for the public people. Public should have something good. Their life should be good. They should get medicine when they are sick. They should be able to earn enough money to feed themselves, to clothe themselves, to shelter themselves. Right? What is the job of politicians? To deliver common good. Ask a question. Are the Nepalese politicians delivering common good? Look, the Sahakari Kanda, how much money they grabbed. Look, all the kandas every day in media. I don't know. Okay, now come to the essay after the quotation. So Priscilla begins her essay with this claim. We live in grim times. Can somebody tell me which year was this essay published? Anybody? If you know, if it is given somewhere. Is it given? Somewhere? At the end or beginning, anywhere? Someone check the end of the essay, if it is given. Footnotes. This content downloaded when? April 24. You have notes here, right? That I made notes. Good. I'm making more notes. Each time I read, I add more notes. Not given. Okay. I'll be happy if somebody can find out tomorrow and tell me. But the essay, it seems like this paragraph is written for Nepal. We live in grim times. What are grim times? What does grim means? Hopeless time, where everybody is sad. Mass shooting, oh God. Seems like these lines are for Nepal. Mass shootings. I read they fired 700 rounds of tear gas. They fired 300-400 rounds of guns, rubber bullets, mass shooting. They kill anybody. Oh God. Cops killing a man at point blank range at the conclusion of a traffic stop. Look, it seems like this line is about Nepal last week. Look how writers can predict future. Snipers killing cops, but not the killer cops. Global warming, another. So this first line refers to political unrest. Political unrest. Global warming. It's drought, flood, heat wave. You saw last year in the month of Shravan or Bhadra. Flood in Kathmandu. Heat wave, wildfire. Last night I saw in Hattiban, near Pharping. The whole mountain, whole jungle is on fire last night. Mega hurricane. We don't have hurricane in Nepal, thank God. Miseries. Species going extinct at the rate of 200 per day. White power, fanatics, racism. Spreading hatred. The shadow of fascism. What is fascism? Hitler's rule is fascism. Who is a fascist ruler? Who grabs all the power. So judge Nepalese politicians with this paragraph. Do you think Nepalese politicians are fascists? I don't know, you decide. Have they grabbed all the power? The judiciary is in their hand. The executive is in their hand. The parliament is in their hand. Right? So it seems like this paragraph Priscilla wrote for Nepal. So how does Priscilla begin the essay? Priscilla begins by portraying a very sad scenario, right? And her major point here is this point. If in an essay, how do you read an essay? How do you read an essay? Simple. Find out the main idea in each para and note it. Look what I do. This is what I do. We live in grim time. This is the main idea. I note down in the margin. I'll remember this for exam. She begins by making this. This is called claim. This is called assertion. This is called argument. She argues that we are living in grim time. You may disagree and say, no, sir, Priscilla is wrong. Our times are very fine, very good. We're enjoying. We have iPhone 16 Pro Max. We have a huge bike. We have all the money. Our times are not grim. You may agree, disagree. So as you read, spot the main idea. And you will see mostly the main idea, not always, comes in the first sentence. Now, here you see, I have another note. Is happiness possible? Second paragraph. So, then, is happiness possible? Should we even wish for it? Now, Priscilla writes single sentence paragraph, 2 sentence paragraph. No, 3 sentence. So then, full stop. Is happiness possible? Question mark. Should we even wish for it? Question mark. 3 sentence paragraph. 2 questions. Is happiness possible? Should we wish for it? Now, such question in argument, in academic writing, there is something known as rhetorical question. What is a rhetorical question? A question that is used to persuade the reader to believe or not believe something. It is not a real question. It is not a grammatical question. It is called rhetorical question. Rhetoric means persuasion. Rhetoric means persuasion, the art of persuasion. And a rhetorical question is a question that is not a true question. You are not going to answer it. But it has a meaning. The meaning of this question is, happiness is possible. And the meaning of this question is, we should wish for happiness. This is the meaning. Priscilla is saying this, but she is writing this question. So this is not a real question, grammatical question. This is an assertion, and we call it a rhetorical question. A rhetorical question is question only in the form. It is not question in the idea. It is an assertion, it is a claim. When Priscilla is asking this question, she is saying, yes, happiness is possible. She is saying, yes, we should wish for happiness. That's the point. Third, another point, the second paragraph, there is something called POD, Plan of Development for your essay. Plan of Development for your essay, POD. When you write an essay, you need a plan. When you make a house, you need a plan. For whatever you do, if you want to succeed, you need a plan. Blueprint, you have a plan. You want to go to picnic, you make a plan. You take a paper, okay, itinerary. Okay, agenda. Okay, items to take, medicine, all that. You make a plan. Then you won't be in trouble on the way. But if you don't plan, then you remember, oh, I forgot my medicine. Planning is always good. And in writing, planning is essential. Right? So here is a plan. So throughout the essay, she will answer this question. Is happiness possible? Right? So paragraph 3, I forgot to number the paragraphs. You can number for quick reference. She begins with a question. There are many techniques of writing a paragraph. There are 3 wonderful, simple books about writing paragraphs. I taught them long ago in BBIS. Wonderful. I forgot the author's name. The name of the book is Effective Writing. It's in my laptop, but I'm very lazy to show you the book because I'll lose my time. There are 3 parts, 3 volumes. Beginner, middle, and an essay. First volume teaches only paragraphs. Third volume teaches essay. This is a wonderful series for preparing IELTS and TOEFL exam writing. Wonderful. I remember this paragraph because I remember that book. One technique of writing a paragraph is ask a question, then answer it. This is what is happening here. Ask a question. What is happiness? Is it, now I'm teaching you. It's my job as a teacher. I record, I transcribe, I came in the class before 30 minutes. I checked your assignments. I read your assignment fully. I read some more assignments. I couldn't read all. I feel like I'm doing my job not badly. So this feeling that as a teacher I'm not doing bad is happiness. Right? Is it dessert first? You eat dessert. Do you eat dessert first or last? Last, right? So suppose there is dessert and you are so, tempting, it is so tempting, you eat first. Sometimes I'll go to my daughter's room and she keeps all dry fruits there, right? Dry and all sweet things. I'll eat them. Is that happiness? Early morning my wife made millet porridge, kodako phano, around 5:15. So sweet. यस्तो मिठो बनाउँछ के हाल्छ कि त्यो युट्युबमा हेरेर सिकेर रहेछ त्यो लसुन हाल्छ खुर्सानी हाल्छ अरु के मेथी हाल्छ कोदाको फाँडो यति मिठो हुन्छ एउटा अन्डा बोइल गरिदिन्छ नुन राखिदिन्छ शनिबार कफी दिन्छ थोरै Is that happiness? Right? Is it serenity in the garden? मेरो घर अगाडि गार्डन छ. Early morning birds make sound. Early morning. I wake up. Is it serenity in the garden? Is it reading a book to your child? Is happiness being a parent? Is happiness being a son or daughter by your side? And read a book. Eudora Welty, very famous Afro-American writer, very famous. Eudora Welty, in her essay, it's a 22-page essay. She begins by saying that in my childhood, every room in my house was a reading room. Because wherever I went, my mother was there and she would always tell me a story. She says even while churning the yogurt, churning the butter, my mom was churning the butter, I'd go and sit by her side and while churning she will tell a story. And today, that child whom her mother told stories, she is the world famous story writer. And she describes how she became a writer, and she says it's because of my parents, because they read stories to me. So is it reading your favorite book to a child, or is it virtue, being morally a moral person, ethical person, not telling lies, not stealing? As I clean the house and now I feel virtuous. Is it doing our duty? I came 30 minutes before. I was never late. I'm never late. I'll never be late. Last time I was never late. Is that happiness, doing your duty perfectly? Is it sex? Being in the bed with a partner, kissing them, hugging them, having intercourse with them. Is it happiness? Or sitting in the beach, or sitting in the sun, soaking in hot bath, a long talk over dinner with a good friend. Can happiness be defined? She began with a question. The Buddhist monk, she brings a quotation. Matthew Ricard. Now, tell me one more thing. Let me tell you one more thing. Important thing about essays. Here, this is an authority. To support her argument. In argumentative writing, the backbone of argument is the people you quote in your essay. Look here. She is quoting the Buddhist monk. Matthew Ricard defines it in On Happiness as flourishing well-being. I have this book in my hard drive. I downloaded it last time. I have this book. She is quoting, and you will see throughout the essay, she quotes many people. And most of these people she is quoting have written books on happiness. I stop here, go through the essay. Next time I'll finish the essay in a single class. Thank you.